Hey, 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 welcome you guys to It's the Love for Me podcast, where we talk about all things empowerment, all things education, and we inspire and we remind people that what you see, you can be. So I am so excited for this episode, which is called Trials and Truth. And why not bring a Houston native to the set so she can sit down and tell us all things empowerment, all things inspirement, and plus we're gonna get into her business. So I have the phenomenal, the powerhouse, Miss Paige Hubbard. Welcome, girl.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. That was a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. Listen, it
Yes.
was all honest, right? Like
Yeah,
honest.
for
Thank
sure.
you
I didn't
so
pay her
much.
to say none of that. None of it.
And pay me in cash. She don't pay me in drinks. No, I'm sorry.
Pay her in compliments, maybe. But anyway.
Yes, definitely compliments. Well, listen, I am super excited about you being here today. I just could not wait to sit down with you. I know a little about you, but I want everybody, all of the listeners, to tap in and just really get to know you. You are a vibrant spirit, a vibrant soul, but I
you.
want people to really know you. So let's kick it off by telling people who you are, where you're from, and well, I said earlier she's from Houston, but anyway, I'll let her give you more deets. So tell people
Yeah.
about Miss Paige Hubbard.
So, as you said, I am a born and bred Houstonian, hailing
Yes.
from Cashmere Gardens.
Come on.
But we moved around a lot,
Lord.
so I really am from a little bit of everywhere, but I claim the North Side. Many people may know me from my journalism career. I'm a broadcast journalist. I got my start here in Houston, working at Fox 26 as an intern, and then I interned at KPRC Channel 2 News, where I am currently employed. And then, the latter just really kept going for me. I actually did some time at KHOU, and then I left Houston and I went to Beaumont and I worked there for 2 years. And then I left
wow.
Beaumont and I worked in Austin for about 2.5 years. So I recently just moved back.
Welcome back.
And I am so happy to be back in H-Town. I love my city.
Yes.
But all in all, I'm just, a passionate journalist. I love my craft. I consider myself a multi-skilled journalist because I began my career reporting in front of the camera, but God has caused me to take a different avenue to where I'm producing and I'm more behind the scenes, and I'm really enjoying that and still getting able to do both.
Both
So
of the
that's
things that
just
you love.
a little bit.
Multi-skill. Come on with the
Yes.
adjectives. I love it.
Multi-skill. Snap, snap, snap. Can't be a one-trick pony.
Oh,
now,
no.
honey. You got to know how to do a little bit of everything.
Not being in Houston, first of all, and then you
Yeah.
said the North Side, so I'm a North Sidean, Fifth Ward
okay.
representer.
North Side, baby. I feel like they're trying to play with the North Side.
They can't.
But I love it's something about it,
It is an energy,
Yeah,
for real.
for
Like
sure.
I can sense people's energy. I can tell the difference. Real talk, low key, North South. I can tell the difference
for sure.
immediately.
Well, I think we're more down to earth. We're more. I'm not gonna say it's slow, but it's just a different vibe
It's a
from
different
the South
vibe,
Side.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But had it been a South Sidean city, sitting here, they would have said something totally
Right.
different. So I know you are from Houston, but tell me what exactly got you into journalism. I know you mentioned, having gone different places, different parts of Texas, but what actually got you in that? What was that drive, that thing that stuck out?
I honestly always say I didn't choose journalism. It chose me. And that is
like that.
truly because, my path is God ordained.
Mm-hmm.
I had aspirations of being a cosmetologist when I was in high school. And then as I got older, maybe like my junior year, I was like, no, I want to do something a little bit more serious. Not saying that cosmetology is not serious, because we know some hairstylists that put in great work. But for me,
Estheticians, everything.
absolutely, my sister is an esthetician. Shout out to Morgan, but shameless plug. But no, essentially, long story short, God just put people and opportunity and places in my path that introduced me to the world of journalism. And when I tell you, it was not something that I could put into words. It was a feeling.
Wow.
My best friend, Portia, she had a mentor at the time that worked at CNN in Atlanta.
Wow.
And it was the BET weekend, and we just were like, girl, let's just go to Atlanta on a whim. Like, in our 20s, just like, let's just pack up and go to Atlanta.
Living the life.
She used her connections to get us a tour at CNN, and I will never forget, like, just being in that room. It was like, I fell in love. You know, I say
Wow.
journalism is truly my first love. I was built for it. Who I am, you know, personally, my character outside of my career, it aligns with what I do professionally. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't choose journalism; it chose me.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, the episode is called Trials, right? So, granted, you navigated and was, gravitated towards journalism, but talk about how the trials that you've encountered throughout your journey has maybe hindered, challenged, or really just built the resilience in you, because I feel like there's some strength that came as a result of challenges that you face in your personal as well as your professional career.
Absolutely. There is a lot of challenges that I endured on this journey. I'll speak about the one most recently when I got laid off last December, which literally I walked into my general manager's office thinking that I was about to get a promotion.
Wow.
Because
Was this in journalism as well?
So this
Okay.
was, I left Austin. I was, reporting in Austin at the top of my game at the CBS affiliate out there. And I had the opportunity to stay another year or two, but my heart has always been, my dream has always been to be in my hometown, work, report, produce, whatever, be a journalist in my hometown. And so I didn't want to sign my life away. You talk about challenges. My goal was to always become this reporter, and I did that. But I had to move away from my family, and even though I never left Texas, it was very challenging, making great money, living in a beautiful apartment off the lake, getting the recognition. I just want to say I never became a journalist to be on TV. That's such a small part. That's why I'm able to take this shift and sit down and be a producer for right now.
Yeah.
But it just came to a point where I'm like, I'm not really happy. And
Yes,
I'm a
I was
happy
waiting for it.
girl.
Yeah,
And at the
yeah.
time I had a pet rabbit, and I'm picturing the moment in my mind. I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm looking around my beautiful apartment, and I just feel this emptiness. At the time I was in a long distance relationship. My ex, who I had met while working in Beaumont, we were 4 hours apart, driving
wow.
back and forth, seeing each other.
Yeah.
So that's another challenge. Yes, you make it to your career, but you try to balance love
Work
and
life.
work, and we're taking turns going to see each other. It was just a lot. And so ultimately, I say all that to say, I made the decision I want to come home.
Wow.
And there was only a producer job available. And so God said, take it. Apply. Trust me. I said, God, I don't know. He said, apply.
Yes.
And it happened so fast.
Wow.
I applied on a Monday. They interviewed me on Wednesday. By Friday, they brought me in. That next Monday, they offered me the job. It went so fast. And everybody was saying, don't take it, because they had only seen me as the reporter.
Right.
So that's another thing. Like sometimes when you got to make moves or make a pivot, you can't listen to what everybody got to say.
the
That's between
naysayers.
you and God.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So God told me, and I knew I had to obey, because
Yeah.
I don't want to pay the consequences, honey.
Yeah.
So I get to CW 39 here in Houston. I'm back on air within 2 months of being employed there, doing everything. It was a very small station compared to the other newsrooms I had been in. And so I'm thinking, we heard rumblings of layoffs. The news industry is not what it used to be.
Right.
It's not making money how it used to be. It's just not the model as it was when I got into the business.
And that's what we thought, right? From
Exactly.
as a viewer or someone coming up in your, watching the newscasters, watching the people on TV, you kind of build this perception of, oh, that's how that person is, right? So
yeah, and in a way, like I would say, I am not fully who you see. Like I have to have a persona on TV
Sure.
because I am delivering important information.
Right.
It's such an incredible responsibility to
Inform.
be able to, when disasters are happening, I'm navigating people to safety. And so I have to have a certain level of decorum when I'm in front of that camera or when I'm in the booth or whatever I'm doing, because I cannot distract from the message, you know?
That's right.
And
oh,
so
that's good.
Going back to the challenge of being laid off, I was doing everything under the sun. I never thought that I would be laid off again. When they called me into the office, I'm like, let me start counting the zeros on my check, honey. I know they about to give me some more money the way I've been busting.
What work I'm doing.
Yeah, and so I immediately realized it was something different. My HR representative, who I had a great rapport with, she couldn't even look at me. And then there was corporate HR on Zoom, and I'm started running into mine like, oh my God, can I cuss?
Yeah.
I was like, what? I
was like, what the fuck did I do?
But it was really no room. Like, I was busting my ass so hard. It was no room for error. So I'm like, what is this about? Long story short, they were like, budget cuts, da-da-da-da-da. We're eliminating your position.
Come on, message. I know it's a message.
It was devastating.
Yeah.
I literally boo-hoo cried. And it was so matter of fact for them. But in that moment, in my heart, something said, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
God said, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
So rewind a little bit. While I was living in Austin, my apartment was infested with mold. And it made me incredibly ill. It damn near destroyed me.
Wow.
I never experienced depression until that moment. I had to throw away. I'm in debt now because I had to max out my credit cards to pay for attorneys. But the testimony is a week. So I sued my apartments.
Yes.
A week after I got laid off, I won my lawsuit settlement.
Wow.
And that's how I was able to stay afloat until I got to KPRC because I was unemployed for 5 months.
Wow. So it sounds to me also like, and I talk about this in my book, Pursuit of Purpose, 11 Keys to Rise Like a Phoenix and Soar. What it says in there, I mentioned standing firm on your position, albeit maybe uncomfortable, and it's not really, the status quo.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, so people looking at you like, how, why, you have this, you doing this, like, just stay in there or try to look in the local town or in Austin or wherever, just stick in there and just wait. But when you are so grounded in your faith, you can hear the voice yourself, right? You don't necessarily need, a lot of times we get kind of despondent to where we want to talk about it, we want to tell people about it, we want to get their opinions about it. But when you know what you know,
absolutely,
you have that assurance, and like you said, it was almost like a gut feeling, like all is well.
Honestly, getting laid off was the best thing that happened to me. It forced me to really lock in and ask myself, is this what you want to do? Because I'm not going to lie. Anybody who know me know I love journalism. I love what I do. I put my career before me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be at work all day. Like, I got to get this story on air, not eating,
wow.
I love what I do. And so I was like, do I want to walk away from this? I started looking at like PR jobs, PIO jobs that make way more money than journalists, but it reassured me, no, baby girl. And it's so crazy because right when I was going out for KPRC, I had another job opportunity that was to be a reporter for a university here in the city. My university, I'll go ahead and say it, TSU. Yeah, shouts out to the illustrious Texas Southern, proud alumna. But I say all that to say, like, God even tested me. I feel like this is where you need to be, but I'm a see. And they were paying me way more money. And it just so happened, divine intervention. The person who I was interviewing with is one of my mentors.
Wow.
And after the interview, I walked in and I treated it just like it was a stranger interviewing me. And I said, okay, now after this, can we have mentor to mentee talk? And he said, give it to me. I said, I just got this job offer. He said, Paige, you're not ready to leave a newsroom. And that conversation was such confirmation to let me know, like, you think that God is delaying you, but ultimately, I was going to stay in that position where I got laid off from doing 5 jobs, making the same money.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So God was like, nah, I know you. You just want to be a journalist, so you're going to be okay right here, but I'm trying to bring you right here.
Yes,
so
greater.
Now I'm at greater and better. Wow. Everything that God... I'm not going to say that God took away from me, but everything that I lost, God gave it back to me 10 times fold. Like 2024 was such a difficult year. Talk about trials. That was literally the hardest year of my life. And in that moment, in that year, I was always saying, like, this is such a hard year, but it really was, it was a harvest season.
That's good.
I got into a really bad car accident. I almost died. My car flipped over. People were calling me a walking miracle.
What?
God blessed me with a better car. Lost my job. God blessed me with a better job. Got out of a relationship. God, at that time, we're not even going to get into that. But anyway, I don't want to go on and on because I talk for a living. But yeah.
No, I think this is awesome. This is great because people need to understand that sometimes the initial path, right, or our initial plan, our plans, the Bible says our plans are not our ways are not his ways, etc. But seriously though, like, and then once you hear that no, it's almost like a dagger. I know it is for me, like, but it's often needed. We
Absolutely.
need that. No, I impressed, like, with my coaching, my mentees, like, I tell them, try, let's say the word. Let's say no,
Absolutely.
like, so that we can get familiar with it and not so fearful of it, because it doesn't always have to be a negative connotation. It may just mean not now, like in
Correct.
your situation, in various situations. So you mentioned work and life and balancing all of those various things and the challenges that you've encountered and the triumphs, because that's really the end
They
of the
go hand in
story.
hand.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So how are you balancing that with the love life? How open are you? Because again, for you to really put forth your passions, your purpose, you have she's looking at me like, girl, what?
Go on, follow me. I'm trying to see where we going. Let's get into it.
We gonna get into it because I'm nosy. But in order for you to continuously walk in your purpose and know what your calling is, you have to have insight as well as it relates to your heart, right? Like, let's be honest. So you work is good, but work ain't gonna hold you.
Correct.
It
But
ain't gonna hold
honestly, so I was in a 4-year
you.
relationship. One of my best friends called me a serial monogamous,
Oh
but
wow.
it's not intentionally. And when I look, like, I'll be 31 in 2 weeks, and I have been in back-to-back relationships since I was 25.
What?
Not intentionally, but I am such a good woman, honey. Like, shameless plug. Like,
Plug.
humbly, I am smart. I'm educated. I'm a good
Okay,
woman. I'm
too.
caring. I'm nurturing. So
Yes.
why wouldn't a man want to snatch me
Ooh,
up?
let them
So
know.
I found myself, like, after I get out of one relationship, well, here come another good catch, and I'm like, okay, and these are long-term relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so after that 4-year relationship with my ex, it was a very difficult breakup because I was forced to walk away from somebody who I really loved. And it
Right.
just was not a healthy situation for me. And God had to force me out because I'm a strong woman, but he knew I couldn't walk away from that shit on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so after I got out of that relationship, I met, my ex. And in the beginning, everything was just everything.
Yeah.
And he's doing everything that
Everything
I wanted
right.
from my ex, but that relationship also didn't turn out the way
Yeah.
that I expected it to be. And so now I just want to spend time with me.
I love
I'm
it.
just really in my single girl era.
Yes.
I said that I want to take a
Reset.
6 months pledge of abstinence from abstaining from sex, but I still want to have my fun, go out on dates, honey. I like to, have a little cocktail. But
Yes.
honestly, after I went through that situation, like, I see why women put their career first. Because a man can wake up and feel different every day, but my career, that's going to always be there
Be
for me.
there.
So no, I can never get the fulfillment, like, out of from a man that I get from my job. Like, that situation just really taught me so much and put things into perspective. And since I am so loving and I am so guarded and I am so public,
Yeah.
you have to be careful because sometimes people they don't want you for you. They want you
Speak.
because of your platform or
Absolutely.
because you make them look good walking in on their arm.
And I think that's important. You mentioned your age, but I know women sometimes are more astute, and I hate to generalize, but
We are.
it's facts.
Scientifically, it's
yeah,
proven.
I was gonna say it's really the truth.
Yeah.
But saying that to say it's great that you are aware of that, so that way you can navigate these
Absolutely.
relationships better, and not to be so guarded, because I think life. Honestly, this is my opinion. I'm very transparent. Life is for living. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we're gonna have the people, and I almost said snakes, so I'm gonna say what's on my mind. So you're gonna have the snakes that approach, but again, when you have an eye and an ear for life and the way that you live it, the energy that you give off, you're gonna attract the right things. That's just my
Absolutely.
opinion.
I agree with you. And one thing that I do admire about myself, I know so many women who have been through heartbreak, divorces, all kind of scenarios, and they allow that shit to turn them cold and bitter.
Yes.
I have been through some shit.
Yeah.
I've been through the fire.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I walk in the room full of light.
Full.
I'm bubbly.
Yes.
You know, God has blessed me so much. It would be disrespectful to him to act any way outside of a abundantly happy, blessed person. So I say all that to say, even though I do feel like I need to guard myself a little more, just to, you know, ladies, don't jump into things too fast.
Too quickly,
in the beginning, it's always good.
Yeah.
That's that person's representative.
Yeah.
You know how we have a 90-day, 3-month work period on the job?
Yeah. Probationary
Put these men
period.
on a probationary period, honey. Because I guarantee what you get from day 1 is going to be different from day 90.
Absolutely.
But I say all that to say, and I encourage other women listening to this who have been cheated on or whatever the situation may be, don't allow that to turn your heart cold from love. Good men exist. Good men are out there. And I'm just happy that regardless of what I go through, I don't let that make me bitter. I'm full of love and light.
Right. Full of love and light. That's just that. Well, I almost said that Gemini, but no.
Oh, it is, honey.
No, it's just the love
season.
in you. Life, like I said, it's to be lived, and we have to learn from everything that we go through. You mentioned the probationary period. It was kind of comical in a sense, but at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that people show you who they are. Oftentimes, we as women don't necessarily want to believe what we see because, you know, being a nurturer, you think, oh, I can fix something. Oh, that ain't too bad. But again,
that's not our job. I'm
it's
sorry.
Not your job.
You know, it's not your job.
Yes.
And if you will go through anything with a man, that man will put you through everything. If that man is not your husband, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think sometimes women, and I'm not a wife, I aspire to be one day, but I just think in my 30 years of, you know, being alive, hell, I've been dating since I was 15, and I feel like sometimes we give too much of ourselves away too early. You know, if you doing wife things as a girlfriend, what does he have to look forward to?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
and I'm speaking to myself because there's been situations where I'm like, well, I need to go harder. I need to show him like this is all I have to offer. Like he has, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, it needs to be equal.
Yes, and you said early on, I am enough, and I think that needs to be resonated. It's a word, vibrating. It needs to just resonate every single day, every morning.
Absolutely.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I have various affirmations, even as a mother, a wife, as a business professional, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on. But anyway.
She wears many hats.
Many. But saying all that to say, I still have to affirm every day my stance. You know what I mean? Being professional, having multiple degrees, I still have to affirm who I am and whose I am. So, you know, don't think that at this age or whatever that it stops, because the challenges of life are still there.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think it's important to affirm. What I want to know also, because you have gone through various things, you've seen a lot, you've encountered various challenges, but your truth is what stands out. What is it that you mentioned earlier, but what is it that you would tell, I would say, if you had an opportunity to tell your 25-year-old self a lesson or something that they or she could learn, what would you tell her that would be different from what you've lived?
That's a great question. You kind of caught me off guard with
that. I know,
that.
that's weird. Like, if you could go back 6 years, what would you tell 25-year-old Paige?
I'll say this. I'm not I don't regret anything in my life.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't change anything.
What would you tell her?
But if I could go back and tell younger Paige something, stop doubting yourself so much.
You are enough. That's what I wanted you to say.
You are enough. At your worst, you are enough. At your best, you damn sure are enough.
Yeah.
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
You got it, mama.
Yeah.
Go for it. And don't cheat yourself thinking that you deserve less than when you know you are capable of receiving the world.
The best. Yes, yes.
And just general advice for younger people or anybody really, I would just say be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, consistency, determination, dedication, discipline is so important to success.
Yeah.
You know, consistency is something that you build overnight. Like you can't cheat the grind. It's like going in the gym.
That's
I
right.
use this analogy all the time. If you go in the gym one day out of the week and you want to go through the drive-through at McDonald's and you think that one day at the gym gonna carry you, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, just stop.
It's the same thing when you're trying to achieve a dream, a goal, build a house, or whatever.
Yes.
Be intentional, be consistent, and be disciplined enough to say, this is what I want, and I'm not going to let nobody or nothing get in the way of me achieving that.
I love it. I love it. I think that is a huge message, like you said, for men and women, and just for people in general, like to be consistent. That message, or actually that word, has been spoken over 10 times today. I've been on been involved with several conversations, and the takeaway has been consistency. So that is the message for today, just to be consistent. I love that, because I have on my, and again, even though I was thinking about that ludicrous song, Mama, I made it, but I haven't. But anyway, even though I have accumulated various things and receive various accolades, I still aspire, I still affirm, as I mentioned, but I also have a vision board, and one of the words on there is consistency, because if I was honest, I lack it in various areas, even though to some I may have succeeded in various areas. So it is a reminder to be consistent in everything that you're striving for, because like you said, that's the only way. I paraphrase, but that's the only way you're gonna win.
Absolutely. and listen, when you're operating in that consistency, you also have to know there's power in the pause. There's power in the pivot. You can keep the consistency going, but you may have to pivot within that. Yeah. Going back to my career, when I was 20, my dream was to be a reporter. At 30, I've had to move different cities. At 30, I don't want to do that anymore. I had to pivot. I didn't want to leave Houston, and I didn't want to leave news, and the only job available to me was a producer. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I settled, but I had to pivot. Adjust. I had to weigh my options. Yes. Okay, you don't want to leave. I could have easily went to Atlanta, Arizona, anywhere else, and been on, you know what I'm saying? But there's power in the pause, and there's power in the pivot. Sometimes we don't have to have it all figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You can still be consistent while you're figuring it out
along the journey.
Correct.
So that's awesome. I think you have a beautiful story for the young people of today, and even a lot of times for the older people, because I don't like to age age-classify things because I think learning is consistent or is continual. Correct. Essentially. Yeah. So, there is no certain age, oh, you should have gotten that, this, that, and the third. No. Not necessarily. No. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're able to breathe, you're able to learn. Absolutely. And adjust and figure it out along the way. So if you could also do something different, would you? If you had an opportunity, so you would stay within journalism. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, now I've been calling myself a journalpreneur. And that's why being here today is very inspiring. Journalist and entrepreneur. Okay. Because, again, now at 30, yes. What is my life after I got laid off? That really, yes, you can work your ass and bust your ass for these companies, but you were, you thought you were safe and you wasn't. Yeah. So now I want to, have something of my own. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Call it out.
Yeah, I don't know it. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I'm figuring it out, but I believe in speaking things into existence. Mm-hmm. So I say I'm a journalpreneur. I'm a journalist and an emerging entrepreneur. I just merged the words together. Okay. So I wouldn't do anything different. I just want to expand more. I don't want to say I've conquered journalism. I've been in the industry for 10 years. So in a way I maybe have in a bit. But I want to get into entrepreneurship.
And there's no specific field that you want in entrepreneurship. I would like
to do something in media, have like my own production company. I want to do a lot. Yeah. I want to own multiple businesses. I believe multiple streams of income is the way to go.
And nowadays, we all need it. Yeah,
especially in this economy, honey.
Especially in this economy. I remember having a Uber driver. He was a lawyer in the daytime, and he was an Uber driver at night. And I was like, you're a lawyer? He was like, yes, ma'am. I work in a prosecutor. I was like, God. So that opened my eyes to like, there is no limit to, streams of income. Like I was
Absolutely
like,
not.
okay, and
Yeah.
it's no dig on you either. Like go
No.
get that money.
When I was first starting my career in Beaumont, I
Hmm.
was on TV, Shining Star. I would get off air. This was during COVID. Put
Wow.
a baseball cap on, put a mask on, and go drive and make me some money. Oh, for Uber,
Come on,
honey. Like
Uber, DoorDash, like
you
you
know what
gotta
I'm.
get
You
it.
gotta get it.
Look, shameless plug. Look, we calling them out, but truth be told, they can actually be sponsors. But
Absolutely. Hey, come on, come
well,
on.
I love the transparency. I
Thank
love it.
you.
Again, when I met you, the energy just, I could feel it. So many of this stuff you didn't have to tell because I was like, I'm an energy person, so I kind
Same.
of vibe with people, irregardless. I was like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna connect, and we're gonna
Yeah,
connect with. And I
same.
just so appreciate you for just coming to the show, dropping the nuggets because people need to hear it. They need to
Yeah.
hear it, and also I wanted people to see it because I'm a firm believer. I said it earlier, and I'm gonna say it as often as I can. What you see, you can be. You don't know what you can't be or can be if you have never seen something. So my goal with this platform is to ensure that people can see what vision looks like in person, see
Absolutely.
what purpose looks like in person, so you can aspire, and that is
Absolutely.
the goal. That's the goal of It's the Love for Me platform. Whether it's a conference or a podcast, I want to encourage, I want to inspire, and I want people to see what purpose looks like.
Very.
So
Yeah.
I thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much.
Yes, I
What?
know we're wrapping up. I don't want to take too
Oh
much time, but
no.
I just do want to say thank you. I just believe in being transparent
Yeah.
because, as I said, I have been through so much, and we don't get a manual, we don't get a rule book to how to do life. So,
Mm-mm.
if I can share my story to save somebody from some headaches I went through, I'm
Yes.
graced and honored to be on your platform to
Well,
do
thank
so.
you. And I think talking it out also helps, right? Like
Absolutely.
talking it out,
It's like
letting people,
therapy.
it definitely is a free session.
Yes.
But talking it out and you can hear yourself so that way you're like, oh man, I said that. I am enough.
Yeah.
Like I hear that, and that's what's kind of bubbling in my spirit, even to me. Shree, you are enough. Whether it's a Dr. Shree or whatever, you are enough. And remember that so that you can tell your friend to tell a friend. Tell
Absolutely. You are enough.
you are enough. Simple and plain. So again, I thank you. I appreciate you. I cannot wait for others. Tell the viewers what else can they expect from you, or is there anything in the works that you want people to know about, and also how can they follow you on socials?
Honestly, my life was really chaotic last year, so I'm just in a place where things are settling.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna say I don't have much going on, but I just started this new role at
sure.
KPRC, so I'm really just diving into that. But
Yes.
stay tuned. I always have a
Watch
little
her
something,
on
something. Channel
every
2
now and
KPRC
then.
here and on it. Instagram. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at _Paige Hubbard. First and last name _brand, the Paige Hubbard brand.
And we're going to make sure that we put the link to your Instagram and even put your social handle. We'll spell it out, but we'll put the link on this particular episode. So,
Fabulous.
again, I thank you guys for joining us. This has been a phenomenal conversation with the phenomenal Paige Hubbard. Don't forget to like, click, and subscribe. You're going to catch some phenomenal Houston's own guests that can give you all the deets behind the scenes of why they do what they do so that they can empower you, inspire you, and more importantly, so we can get into their business. So, again, don't forget to like, click, and subscribe. Check us out here every week. Make it a great day.